we might as well take advantage of this opportunity. We're here, so we might as well begin with our introduction to meditation. So I'm going to kind of ring the bell to get us started. It's nice to have an official beginning and end. Okay. So very sincere welcome to everyone who is joining for this group meditation practice, this introduction to meditation, which is entitled Just Sitting, Just Breathing, The Art of Awakening. So we're going to start our practice together with some stretching. Something that you really need in meditation is to be connected with your body. If you don't have a connection with your body, if you're really not in your body, it's going to be very difficult to practice meditation. It's going to be difficult to do anything if you're not in your body. So in that spirit, we're going to start our introduction to meditation with some stretching. Okay? And all of this is set up, this introduction to meditation is set up in a way that you can practice like this on your own. If you want to practice meditation independently, when you do that, you can start with the stretching. Okay? So let's all stand up and we will begin our practice together with some stretching. Okay, so taking a standing position with your feet flat on the ground and your shoulders back and your head up straight. We're going to bring our arms all the way up above our head and kind of reach towards the ceiling and stretch out. And as we are reaching our hands all the way up towards the ceiling, we can take a deep breath in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. Breathing in deeply through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. One more time, breathing in very deeply through the nose. And this time, as we breathe out through the mouth, we're going to completely fold over, reaching down to the ground. Be careful, don't hurt yourself, but stretching your arms down to the ground and bending over, leaning over. Probably feeling that stretch on the opposite side of your knees, your calves, maybe your lower back as well. And as we're hanging down in that position, we can swing to the left and to the right a little bit. Really starting to get in our bodies, aware of the body, and we really feel, we experience that this body is here. And then we can stand up straight again with our arms hanging down by our sides, our shoulders back, standing flat on our feet. Then once again, we can bring our arms all the way up above our head, almost like we're trying to grab a hold of something that's just out of reach. And we're stretching the spine, we're stretching the arms, The whole body stretching up, trying to grab this thing that's just out of reach. Taking a deep in-breath through the nose, and as we exhale, once again, bending over, hanging down. And as we're hanging down like that, we can swing around a little bit to the left and to the right. Swinging around a bit and feeling that stretch in the muscles, the tendons, the bones. And once again, standing up straightly. Now we will sit on the ground. So hopefully, if you're like me, you might get a little bit wet in the snow, but don't worry about that. So sitting on the ground and just putting your legs extended out in front of you. So you're sitting on the ground and your legs are fully extended in front of you. And as your legs are like that, you're going to twirl your feet. I'm not sure if you can see, but just to twirl your feet and kind of stretching your ankles and your feet, and at the same time stretching your legs. And then kind of folding over, reaching forward towards your toes. Don't hurt yourself. It's more that we're just stretching a bit. We're stretching the body out a bit and feeling the body, getting in touch with the body. So we are feeling the body, feeling a stretch, and we're also aware of our breath. And once again, just twirling the feet around, stretching out the ankles and the feet. And then finally, we can kind of separate our legs so that they are stretched out the wide. So as much as you're comfortable stretching out like this, you can do it. But spreading your feet and your legs out wide and feeling the stretch that way. And as much as you like to, you can even lean forward a little bit, stretching out the back, stretching out the body. Just like with meditation in general, you don't need to do it right. You need to do it sincerely and safely, carefully. Okay, so when you feel comfortable with your stretch, you can stand back up and then sit back down. So find your comfortable position that you would like to practice meditation in. So for me, I'm sitting in a chair, but you just find your position. Okay. So one of the biggest things, and we can say this is the most difficult part of maybe doing anything, but specifically with meditation, the most difficult part is that real intention to do it, a real intention to practice. Now, if you have the intention, you can do it. Just like with a physical exercise, like with a jogging or a stretching. If you have the intention to do it, then you can do it. But it has to start with that intention. And then you try it out. You see what you are able to do or not able to do. So starting meditation with some stretching, we are aware that we have a body. We felt it for ourselves. We don't need to rely on anyone else to tell us about the body. We really experience it directly. So having done a bit of stretching, and now that we are a little bit more aware that there is a body here, we're going to find our seated position. Usually when we practice meditation, it's recommended to do so in a seated position. And what's important is to be stable and upright and also comfortable. So for you, it might be sitting in a chair. It might be lying down in bed. It might be when you're in the shower. It could be a number of different things. What does it mean to find a comfortable, stable, upright position for you and for your body? It can mean all kinds of different things. But to practice a meditation, we find that position. So let's each take a moment to find our meditation position, whatever that may be for you. Just get comfortable, stable. For me, I like to sit cross-legged in this office chair. That's a position that I enjoy. But if you're sitting in an office chair or a chair in general, you can just put your shoulders back, sit with your feet flat on the floor, comfortable and stable. Okay? So now that we have found our meditation position, we have found a place for the body to be in, to be comfortable in, to be stable in, and a position where we aren't involved in a struggle to hold ourselves up or to maintain the body in a certain way. The practice is kind of to put the body down. So usually we are running around chasing pleasures and avoiding pain. We're kind of feeding the body all the time. You know, my body wants this, it doesn't want that. So the body's kind of always in motion, always in struggle. As we practice meditation, we are putting the body down. So we find that meditation position to put the body down. And when the body is put down, we can begin to focus on our breath. So what does that mean to focus on the breath? Well, the breath is happening. The breath is sustaining you, keeping you alive. So the breath is coming in and going out. And your focus here, focusing on the breath, is to prioritize this experience of the breath coming in through the nose, going down through the throat and filling the belly, and going out. The breath coming in and going out. Your primary activity, your main focus in meditation is exactly to be aware of the breath coming in and going out. To be aware of it, to be with it as it is happening, which of course it's happening in the present moment. The breath isn't happening at any other time, but the present moment, we don't need to give too much weight to that idea. What's important, what we need to prioritize and emphasize here is placing our attention, placing our awareness onto the breath. The breath as it comes in, fills up the belly, and goes out. And we can close our eyes as we do this. We can look at the breath, we can focus on the breath as if it were something quite curious, something that isn't just what we think about it, but is this new experience, this unfolding happening. Okay? So the breath is coming in and going out, and we are looking at it in a way of really getting involved with it, to be aware of the breath. So let's try that together for a bit. Let's give that a try. So the breath is coming in and going out. Our eyes are closed and we are focusing on the breath with a kind of curiosity, feeling the physicality of the breath. Now the mind can be right off the bat. The mind can be quite jumbled, quite confused. We're jumping around from idea to idea, thought to thought. We can't really focus. We might feel that way, we might not. But if we do feel that it's difficult to focus, that's really good. Because although our practice here is to focus on the breath, as we are doing that, we are aware of all kinds of experiences happening to us, all kinds of distractions, all kinds of confusions. We are aware of them, we notice them, and then we return back to the breath. We return back to this practice of focusing on the breath, following the breath at this moment. And at the point we get distracted or confused, if and when that happens, our practice is to return back to breathing. Now, it might sound like I'm saying a lot of words, and I certainly am, but these words are pointers to the simplicity of the practice. You're putting the body down. We're not using the body for anything right now. We are focusing, we are putting our attention onto the breath as it comes in and goes out. And as we notice that there is a thought, a distraction, a confusion, whatever it might be, we notice it, we're aware of it, it's not a problem, and we return back to the breath, coming in and going out. In that way, we are just breathing, just being aware. So, like I said at the beginning, the greatest difficulty, the greatest barrier for practicing meditation, the greatest barrier for going for a jog, for doing anything, is that sincerity, is that intentionality that, oh, I want to try this. I want to take a look at this. I don't want to just give up. Well, you can't even get to the point of giving up until you have that intention to do it, to try it, to step out the door, to go jogging. But for here in our meditation, we don't need to step out the door. We don't need to move our body in any way. It is just to bring our attention, our awareness, our focus back onto the breath at this moment, being aware of the breath as it comes in and goes out. And so as much as we are, quote unquote, practicing meditation, we're also starting again and again. We're stepping into this simplicity of newness and freshness that we find when we step out the door, when we experience the weather as it is. So we can take this practice here, not as doing meditation, but repeatedly, again and again and again, breath by breath, making that decision, taking that first step out of the door to begin jogging. So each time when you step out the door and begin jogging, or when you are practicing meditation, yeah, you get tired, you get distracted, you want candy, you want to go back inside because it's cold, you want to take a nap. Yes, but then you starting again, going back to the breath, just breathing, just being aware, again and again, breath by breath. At any time, if you get very distracted or very confused or very caught up, you simply take a deep breath. Relax. Start again. Refresh the browser. Alt Control Delete. Start again. So let's try this practice together for a few minutes, and we're going to start it with the sound of the bell. So we really invite the sound of the bell as a kind of sweet, soft invitation to be aware, to just breathe. We get distracted, we hear other things, we feel uncomfortable, and then we return back to the breath. So let's try this together for a few minutes and just kind of see what happens. Inviting the sound of the bell, just breathing, just being aware. Now, as we are practicing in this way, we encounter all kinds of things. And usually people have the mind that if you have a pleasurable experience in meditation, or if you have a peaceful experience in meditation, that somehow you're doing it right, or that that's what you are supposed to experience. But there's nothing that you are supposed to experience. All kinds of different ideas, tension, feelings, sensations come up. You're aware of it, you experience it, and then you return to just breathing, following the breath as it comes in through the nose and goes out. There's nothing more profound, more immediate, more important than your method of meditation, your way of coming back, returning to, breathing in and breathing out. There is a physicality to this practice. There is a directness, an immediacy to this practice that is very important to understand this simplicity, the directness, how you apply yourself. So usually the mind is so complicated, so confused, so many ideas, so much past and future, so much like and dislike. So it makes very clear sense that when we practice meditation, we're going to experience like and dislike. We're going to experience confusion and distraction. That's a part of the practice. So we experience it, we're aware of it, and then we're returning back to the breath as it comes in and goes out. At this point, does anyone have a question about this practice of meditation, this way of applying our mind, this method of meditation? Is there any question or confusion about what we're doing? If there is, it's very good, it's very worthwhile if you share that, if you ask the question, because that can help clear up confusion for yourself and also for other people, maybe for me. So do you have any question or any confusion about what we're doing, what this practice is exactly? So taking a moment to once again find our body, to be aware of our body and the position of our body. So if there's something that is particularly uncomfortable for you, take a moment to change your position. Make sure that you are comfortable. And also that you are in an upright position. So we understand that meditation is a kind of very noble, very skillful activity. Oh, all the questions coming up now, a little bit of a delay perhaps. So we'll look at some of these questions before we continue. Stephen says, how should I deal with surrounding noise? You deal with surrounding noise by accepting that there is noise. Noise is a part of life. Noise does not interfere with your ability to just breathe, to just be aware of noise. Try to hear noise as simply noise and don't get too caught up in your judgments about that noise. If the noise is good or bad, right or wrong, if you want it or don't want it, simply noise as noise, seeing as seeing, hearing as hearing. As we practice meditation, we might drift off into sleepiness, so we might lean over, falling over. We might find ourselves leaning back. Find that place in the middle where your shoulders are back, your chest is open, your stomach is open so that you can breathe comfortably. But each time that we practice meditation, the body is going to be a little bit different. Our position is going to be a little bit different. So what's essential is that you find a position in which you can put down the body, let go of the body. So if your chin goes up or a little bit down, that's a part of meditation. But finding that chin to be flat, to be center, that's to be finding the balance in our mind as well. Lucas is asking about tension or twitching with the eyes or the eyelids when they are closed. How should we deal with that? Don't worry about it. It's okay if there's tension. We're all in meditation experiencing, oh, that's a thought I like. That's a thought I don't like. That's a worry. My ankle hurts. My body doesn't, I'm not in a hot tub on a mountain with snow. Yeah, we're, we're not in that position. And that's a part of our meditation, being with that, being with the breath, being with the body, being with the mind, but not getting caught up, not getting stuck. So the eyes are twitching. How wonderful. Our body is uncomfortable. How wonderful is that? How interesting, how curious is that? So we're just being with it, not to get into any complicated judgments or ideas about what we're experiencing is either good or bad. It just is the way that it is. And so we are practicing to be with those experiences at this moment, to really show up to them, for them, whatever that experience might be, to totally show up to it, for it, with it. With each breath, with each moment, we're practicing in that way. Okay? To be there without judgment or friction or tension or confusion, just breathing, just being aware. Okay, so let's continue with our meditation practice. If you haven't given up yet, wow, that's wonderful. That's really great. So once again, let's take a moment to make sure that we're comfortable, to make sure that we are in the meditation position. Restarting, refreshing. And as you find that you are in a comfortable position for your body, practice to put down, to let go of the body. So simply allow your body to be wherever it is at this moment. You can put your hands on your knees or in your lap, But find a position where you're no longer holding the body up or struggling with the body. Put the body down. And as the body is put down, let go of, start to focus on the feeling of your breath coming in and going out through your nose. And experiment. You can try different ways of breathing. So maybe for you, you need to breathe deeply to really bring your mind home to the body, to really connect with the body at this moment. Or perhaps you're in a situation where you don't have any feeling about controlling the breath or influencing the breath. So just allow yourself to breathe the way that you're breathing right now. Putting down the body, focusing on the breath as it comes in and goes out through the nose, and getting all kinds of distracted by a physical sensation or a thought or a belief or an idea, all kinds of distractions, all kinds of confusions, all kinds of annoyances. Your eye is twitching, your back hurts, you don't want to do this anymore. All that stuff, being fully aware of it, fully accepting the way that things are right now. Focusing on your breath as it comes in and goes out. And whatever distraction or annoyance or pain that you experience, just be aware of it. Just breathing, just being aware. Giving up, letting go of our story, our past and future, what we want and what we don't want, if we did a good job or a bad job today. Put down the body, just breathing, just being aware. The sound of the bell invites us to fully and completely and wholeheartedly practice just breathing, just being aware. The breath is this kind of deep resource, this place of awakening, this place of putting down, detaching from, letting go of those rigid ideas that we have about ourselves, the world, our story, good and bad. And so this practice of just sitting, just breathing, just being aware is very much the art of awakening. This way of waking up from our dreaming of, if I get this, I'll be happy. If I get rid of this, I'll be satisfied. If I can only be this perfect version of myself, everything will be the way that I want it to be. The truth is that there is suffering. There is a difficulty. And the cause of that, not the cause of peace, but the cause of suffering, is our desire, our attachment to get something and to get rid of something. But we experience things that we don't want to experience. And we do not experience certain things that we want to experience. So there is suffering, and there is a cause of suffering. That is our desire, our chasing, our clinging, our holding on to. So this practice of putting down the body, picking up this method of just breathing, just being aware, focusing on the breath, feeling the breath as it comes in through the nose and goes out. This is the art of awakening. And it is not to meditate for a particular amount of time. It is not to have a special experience when we practice meditation. It is exactly this breath, this moment of just sitting here, just breathing, just being aware. And so as we hear the sound of the bell, we are continuously invited to just breathe, to just be aware, and having a full recognition of the cause of our suffering, which is, at least in a large part, that we want certain things and we cannot get them, and we don't want certain things and yet we experience them. Realizing this, understanding this, with each and every breath, we are detaching from desire. We are putting down this mind of suffering. We are putting down this mind of getting, wanting, forcing, changing. And we are picking up this practice of just breathing, just being aware. So invited by the bell, invited by the community of people who are here practicing together, let's, for just a moment, put down the body and pick up this practice of just breathing, just being aware. those distractions and experiences that you encounter in meditation are essential to the practice of meditation. Let go of that idea in your mind of what meditation should be. Aware of the full spectrum of human experience at this moment. Even though there are all these experiences, there is this accessible practice, method of, at this moment, just breathing, just being aware of those ideas, thoughts, stories, experiences, colors, third eye opening, chakras opening. All kinds of different things can happen in the human experience. But for our practice of meditation, we are aware of them but not confused by them. We experience only, breathing only, aware only, hearing only, nothing added, nothing complicated, nothing confusing. So continuing to practice this just breathing, just being aware. So it's a time for no judgment, no goal, no expectation, not really doing anything at all. Just breathing, just being aware. That is the practice. And when we find ourselves getting sleepy or judgmental or dreamy, returning back with some brightness, with some aliveness to just breathing, just being aware. So you can open your eyes if they are closed. You can rub your hands together if you like. So feeling some kind of friction, some kind of heat in between your hands. And massaging the face, the skull, the head, the eyes and the ears. The neck and the shoulders. So before we do meditation, stretching is a great idea, a great practice. And directly after we practice meditation, a self-massage can be really good. Massage your ankles, your legs, your head, your face, your whole body, just to give a deep massage for yourself. And during meditation, during the practice, just breathing, just being aware. So this was an introduction to meditation, to the practice of just sitting, just breathing, the art of awakening. And I hope that this live stream, this video, will support you in your own personal practice of transforming suffering and experiencing peace in your life. Please do remember that this practice of just breathing, just being aware, can be brought into any activity. When you take a shower, when you wake up and you don't want to get out of bed, when you get in an argument with someone, when you are reading, when you're stressed, when you're relaxed, to take a moment or a few moments together to practice just breathing, just being aware. Okay? Thank you everyone so much for joining, and see you again soon for another practice of meditation and exploration of Buddhist teachings, or whatever we will see. Okay? Thank you for joining.